This script is designed for a compelling, narrative-driven YouTube video. It uses a character arc to explain complex economic data, making it relatable for an audience that feels the same six-figure squeeze. A YouTube script, by $100,000 feels like $40,000. A estimated word count, 1,100 words. Tone, empathetic, analytical, slightly witty, and grounded. A scene 1, the hook. A narrator, for decades, six figures was the ultimate finish line. It was the "I've made it" number. It meant the white picket fence, 2 cars in the garage, a family vacation every summer, and a retirement fund that actually grew. But it's 2026, and today, crossing that $100,000 threshold feels less like a victory lap and more like treadmilling just to stay in the same place. If you're making six figures and still checking your bank account before buying groceries, you're not crazy, and you're not necessarily bad with money. You're living through the greatest purchasing power collapse of the modern era. Today, we're going to look at why $100,000 in 2026 officially feels like $40,000 in the year 2000. We're going to follow the story of Mark, a guy who did everything right to see exactly where the money goes. Scene 2, meet Mark. A narrator. Meet Mark. Mark is 32. He just landed a senior role, $100,000 a year. On paper, Mark is in the top 15 to 20% of earners in the U.S. by every historical metric. Mark is rich. But Mark has a problem. He lives in a mid-sized city, not even New York or San Francisco, and he's realizing that his dream salary is being cannibalized before it even hits his pocket. Scene 3, the tax man. The invisible deductions. A narrator, before Mark can even think about a mortgage, the invisible eaters take their seat at the table. First, the federal and state taxes. In most states, Mark's $8,333 monthly gross shrinks to about $6,200 after Uncle Sam takes his cut. Then comes health insurance. In 2026, premiums have outpaced general inflation for a decade. Mark pays $400 a month for a good plan that still has a $3,000 deductible. Then, there's the 401k. To have any hope of retiring, Mark puts away 10%. Mark's take-home pay, roughly $5,000 a month. Mark is already down 40% of his six-figure status, and he hasn't even paid for a place to sleep yet. Scene 4, the housing trap. A narrator, this is where the floor falls out. In the 1990s or early 2000s, a $100,000 salary could easily afford a $350,000 home. Today, interest rates are hovering around 6.5% to 7%. Mark looks for a modest starter home. In his city, that's now $450,000, with a 10% down payment which took him years to salvia his mortgage, insurance, and property taxes come out to $2,800 a month. Remember, Mark only brings home $5,000. He's now spending 56% of his take-home pay just on a roof. This is what economists call being house-burdened. In the year 2000, that same house would have cost $180,000, and his payment would have been $1,100. Mark is paying a time tax of $1,700 every single month just for being born in the wrong decade. Scene 5, the grocery store shock. A narrator, then there's the daily grind. Mark goes to the grocery store. He's not buying wagyu beef, he's buying eggs, chicken, and some spinach. In 2020, a full cart was $120. In 2026, due to sticky inflation where prices rise and stay steady, that same cart is $210. He's paying 40% more for the exact same calories. Over a month, between groceries and the occasional $18 sad desk salad at work, Mark is out another $800. Remaining balance, $1,400. Scene 6, the modern necessities. A narrator, here is where the silent creep happens. Our parents didn't have high-speed internet bills, $80, 5 streaming services, $75, or $1,200 smartphone financed at $40 a month. But in 2026, these aren't luxuries. If you work in tech or corporate like Mark, You need the internet. You need a functioning phone. A ad in car insurance which has skyrocketed 20% in the last 2 years and a car payment for a used Honda, and marks out another $600. A remaining balance, $800. A scene 7, the psychological tall narrator. This is why it feels like $40,000. In 2000, if you had $800 left over after all your big bills, you were doing great. You could save for a boat, go to Europe, or start a business. But in 2026, that $800 has to cover A. student loans, A. car repairs, A. emergency fund. A mark is one check engine light away from a $0 balance. He is making $100,000, but he is living the exact same lifestyle his father lived on $42,000 in 1995. The math doesn't lie. According to the Consumer Price Index, $100,000 in 2026 has the same purchasing power as roughly $54,000 in the year 2000. When you factor in that housing and healthcare have outpaced general inflation, that feeling of $40,000 is actually closer to the truth than the number on Mark's paycheck. A scene 8, is there a way out? A narrator, so, if $100,000 is the new $40,000, what do we do? A stop the comparison. You cannot compare your six-figure life to the one you saw on TV in the 90s. The math has changed. The fixed cost audit. Wealth in 2026 isn't about what you make, it's about what you keep. The people who feel rich are the ones who kept their housing costs low, maybe by living in a boring city or keeping a 2019 mortgage rate. The new milestone. Financial experts now suggest that $150,000 to $180,000 is the new comfort threshold for a family in a metropolitan area. Mark isn't failing, he's just playing a game where the difficulty level was turned up while he was sleeping. Scene 9. Conclusion. A narrator, $100,000 is still a lot of money. It's a privilege, but it's no longer a get-out-of-financial stress-free card. It requires the same discipline, budgeting, and sacrifice that $40,000 required 30 years ago. If you're feeling the squeeze, remember, it's not just you, it's the economy. The finish line moved, and it's time we started talking about why. What about you? Does your salary feel like it's shrinking? Let me know in the comments below. Outro. Narrator, if you found this breakdown helpful, hit the like button and subscribe. We're deep diving into the new economy every week. See you in the next one. Next step for you.